Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Craft Brewed Sports. I am Mike. Sitting with me tonight is Drew. No Joe in the house tonight. He's off in Memphis doing Memphis things. Right? Is that where he was going, or was he going to Nashville? I can't remember. I think he's going to Memphis.
I thought he was going to.
Yeah, I think he's in Memphis. No, I think it's Memphis. I think he's going to see a Memphis Grill.
You know what I think? You know what I think we can agree on? We have no damn idea. We love you, Joe. Miss you dearly.
This is Craft Brewed Sports, the drunkest sports takes on the internet. I'm already messing things up on the stream, dude. I don't like sitting in this chair. Like, the intro was screwy. It's fine, whatever. But now that we're in it, we're good. We got a great show coming on for you guys tonight. We're gonna talk this MLB playoff expansion. Pitchers and catchers reporting, baby. It's baseball season.
God, yes.
It is baseball season. If you notice the table bumping up here,
I was gonna say Mike's got a chub.
Raging.
It is that time of year, folks.
It is raging right now.
Yeah,
so we're going to talk about this playoff expansion thing that's going on. There's a lawsuit that we got to get into going on with the Astros. And later on at 8:30, we are going to be talking to James Morgan, quarterback from FIU, who just found out he got invited to the Combine. So he's going to come on the show. We're going to talk to him about getting ready for the draft and all that fun stuff.
Imagine.
Also, I really can't wait to ask him what it felt like to beat Miami at FIU. Like, that was one of the biggest upsets of college football last year.
That was very entertaining to watch, too, though.
It's very entertaining.
I'd love to see Miami lose.
It's always great to see Miami lose.
Love it. Because weren't they, like, back recently multiple times? They thought they were there.
Yeah, well, you know, they've always been back. They keep coming back.
And then our boy smacked him back in their place, right?
I think he threw for, like, 160 yards that game, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Like, he picked
Keeping
them
it
apart.
clean. That's what you got to do. Protect the ball.
So we will talk to him a little bit later on, and also some XFL talk. So be sure to share out the show. Help us out. Make sure everybody's seeing this. Top fan, Loudbeard saying I'm in the wrong chair. I know, man. I can't deal with this weird shit either. It is super weird. And Matt Barr saying that from behind the soundboard, me behind the soundboard is going to be worse than Jameis before LASIK.
Oh, my God. Yes, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I completely forgot about that. Because all right, hold on. I'll hold my tongue for now. I got feelings, though.
Yes, let's get into all this stuff first. Before we do anything, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor. This is First Pour, brought to you by Dugout Mugs. And listen, everybody, we got the hookup for you. All you got to do is go to dugoutmugs.online/craft and get 10% off your entire order. Drink out of a baseball bat, just like we do. Baseball season's back, baby! So now's the time to do it. Put in your order. Be ready.
It's
going
to be unbearable,
for
folks.
It's going to be really unbearable.
It's going to be unbearable,
It is
folks.
Yes, it's definitely going to be unbearable at this point. So, yes, hit them up, dugoutmugs.online/craft. And drink out of a bat. Open your beer bottles with a baseball. It's one of the coolest companies that I've ever seen. This week, we are drinking Kid in a Candy Store, which is how I feel with baseball season being back.
Oh, my God. Everything's going to come back to this nonsense.
Kid in the Candy Store.
How are you going to ruin candy, too? Dang, dude.
This is a 7.5% ABV brew from Weldworks Brewing Company in Greeley, Colorado. This is what Tavor had to say about this one. They said it's brewed with peanuts, caramel. I said it. I did that on purpose. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't have to smack you
for
that.
I admitted on a previous episode that yes, I'm wrong. It is not caramel, and I will train myself to say caramel.
You were trolling. Just be honest.
I wasn't really trolling. Like, I literally said it, caramel. But I admit now that I was wrong. I'm a big enough man to say I was wrong.
Is it fair to ask, is that Youngstown education right there?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can blame it on Youngstown. You can blame everything on Youngstown. So this is brewed with peanuts, caramel, milk chocolate, and nougat. They say this tastes like a Snickers bar melted down into a stout. 4.1 caps on Untapped. What do you think of this one, Drew, first sips?
I am so nervous. I haven't tried it yet because I poured it out, and I had a reaction. It's like, oh, my God, that looks so thick. It looks so dark and creamy. I can't wait. But I have high expectations. You say your Snickers melted down into a stout. Like, I am there for that.
It is super thick, very thick mouthfeel.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm about to dive in, but I just want to say I had Snickers before I had solid food. Like, that was me, right? I went straight from, well, we'll just move on.
My man. This is so good. It definitely tastes like a Snickers bar. There's like a little bit of a milk stout aftertaste to it, but 100% tastes like a Snickers bar.
Yes.
Are you a stout fan? Do you like
I
stouts?
am, but I can't help but shake that. It feels like there's something fruity in there a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I probably
know.
just didn't wash the mugs good enough last time. It's just
Hashtag facts.
it's just leftover IPA from last
I mean,
week.
the empties are still on the or on the bar outside. So I walked in, I was like, oh, it's been a tough week.
It's not tough. It's just lazy. That's all. Man, I'm a big fan of this one. This is stout season, so it's I felt like this would be a good one to get back into it. But man, we don't even have to see how this one's gonna hold up. It is delicious.
We may be hitting up those Labatt's after all, because this stuff is gonna go.
It's
fast.
gonna go down really
It's gonna go real fast.
I was like, we got 2 16-ounces. That's plenty to get through this show. I do not know if that is going to be enough to get through the show at this point. All right,
Can we Uber Eats a Snickers?
You know what? Maybe.
I'm just wondering. I mean, can we Kroger Rush a Snickers?
Shout out to everybody who has shared the show so far. Biscuit sharing us out. Robert Taylor sharing it out multiple times, as always. Drew shared it out. Do we know who that? And then
Definitely have no idea who that cat
Big
is.
Vic. Oh, Money Blakeweather sharing it out. Thank you, Money Blakeweather, for helping us out. Appreciate the shares, guys. Keep those coming. Make sure your friends are tuning in to see us get nice and drunk on A Kid in a Candy Store by
Yes, sir.
WeldWorks
Yes, sir.
Brewing. Brought to you by Dugout Mugs. Again, dugoutmugs.online/craft. Get 10% off your entire order.
I gotta say, I do like how Money Blakeweather just told people to watch. He didn't ask. He didn't say I recommend. He's just like, watch.
That's
this.
because Money Blakeweather is the man, and he's like, look,
Yeah.
I called the shots here, and you are going to watch this show. And people do. People listen to him because he's an authority, and he's also, he trains in UFC.
I was
he's
gonna say
a scary guy.
and he can fight. There you go. Okay, quit dancing around.
All right, let's talk this MLB playoff expansion because all right. First of all, for those of you that don't know, have you heard what they're proposing?
I thought it'd be really cool for the show for me to come in and get my first reaction with you live on air. So I have not looked into this at all.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, so
yes, that was planned.
here's the plan that they're revealing. So currently, right now, there's 10 teams that make it in the playoffs, 5 in each division. There's 3 leagues. Sorry, whatever. It's stupid.
Engineer, can't turn it off. My apologies.
So there's the 3 division winners and then 2 wild card teams. The wild card teams play in a 1-game playoff, and then it goes to the top 4 teams. The new proposal is 14 teams.
Oh,
7
out.
7 in each league. Right. That's where I was like, dude, 14 teams. There's only like 32. You mean to tell me more? Like almost half of the entire population makes the playoffs?
Yeah, and
Playoffs?
and I mean, yeah. And the NHL and the NBA already get flack for that. I think the NBA playoffs, frankly, the first 2 rounds could go away and no one would really care. I think in the NHL, yes, half the league almost does make it, but at the same time, man, those playoffs are a grind.
Right.
And the teams that start those playoffs are completely different than the ones that finish it too.
Totally agree.
Those playoffs evolve over their period enough that I think it's interesting because the teams change as they're going through postseason. NBA, you know what you got, right? The stars, the teams, it either works or it doesn't. They blow through the first round because there's a bunch of garbage teams in there to begin with. So that one I would say adjust it. Baseball needs to not make that same mistake. I don't think depending. And again, I guess tell me about what the first round would be.
All right, so here's how the breakdown is. So the top seed in each league gets a bye into the divisional round.
Okay.
The remaining teams now have a March Madness selection style show to figure out who's playing who in a 3-game wild card series, all played at the higher seed stadium. So there's no travel involved. It's just 3 games at the higher seed stadium. So here's how they're doing it. The next highest seed, the number 2 seed, gets to go on TV during a TV show and pick who they want to play out of the 3 wildcard teams. They get to just say, yeah, this is who we want. We want these guys. Then the next division winner gets to do the same thing. And then the remaining 2 wildcards that haven't been selected play each other. And that's the part where I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm cool with that.
Before we dig into the strategy of it, because I do have some thoughts there. Like, this is literally just the OWGs being OWGs. And like anyone who's been in a fantasy football league year to year, you get bored with how you're doing the drafts and stuff. So you just get creative, right? That's how you end up saying, all right, we'll do draft order by whichever kids crosses the line first in this sack race kind of business. So these dudes are just like, yeah, you know what? The playoffs are super boring because we kind of know what's going to happen after sitting and watching this boring game for 4 months. Let's shake it up in November because, you know, we got to do something to keep our heartbeat going and keep us alive so we can keep making money off the backs of whatever. I mean, baseball. It's just old white guys printing money.
But it's OWGs that don't like to change. This is the game that's like, no, we're going to have one league that has a designated hitter and the other league won't, and we are never going to change that. And you can fight. We'll fight this to the death. This is the sport that is like all about history and tradition, and they rely on that. So for them to even propose this is bananas.
I mean, if I actually trusted they would do something different ever, yeah, okay, maybe I'd give you credit. But this is just stupid. This is a PR stunt. This is terrible.
Here's so I'm glad you haven't looked into this at all because there's also a little bit of conspiracy theory that's going on with this one. So the conspiracy theory tinfoil hats that have come out for this, they are saying that MLB never wants to implement this. There is never a plan to do this. They aren't going to change. So instead, they roll this out to get people to stop talking about the Astros. Because with pitchers and catchers reporting, you can't have everybody in the media and every baseball fan wondering what's going to happen with the Astros. How come none of the Astros? They haven't even apologized yet. What's going on with this? What about the Astros? Are they going to cheat this year? They're supposed to be one of the best teams in the AL. Or is it going to be the Astros? Are they going to be tainted again? What kind of measures are you going to take into effect to make sure they're not doing it this year? And instead, people are going, 14 teams in the playoffs? What the shit are you talking about?
That's the conspiracy theory.
That's the conspiracy.
Okay, because I wrote down a prediction. That's why I wanted to do while you were going, so there wasn't any thoughts of it being tainted. And so what I thought you were going to end with is, can you just read that off for me and then the listeners?
Mike's theory will end with Pete Rose getting into the Hall of Fame.
That's where I thought you were going with it. Surprisingly, you ended up with something much more coherent. It's not terrible. There's probably a fair amount to that. Where I wouldn't be shocked if they have talked about it in the past 6 months or whatever, and like they're finally like, oh yeah, so now's when we should mention this. I don't know, man. It still feels so kitschy. It feels so gimmicky. Like
it's definitely kitschy and gimmicky.
Yeah, like because I mean, God. Well, the other thing I was going to ask too is if they go this route with it and the number 2 seed gets the first pick, could they, in theory, because it's baseball and matchups and stuff, what if they want to pick the number 3 seed?
Well, they're not. Well,
I mean, is that a thing? Because you put that kind of stuff on the table, and I'm starting to get closer to it being something somewhat worth discussing. Tyson Namuki, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this strategy. Like
Kyle, no.
Kyle, Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame.
He clearly didn't listen last week.
Yeah, go back and listen to Cincinnati Style from last week, which there won't be a Cincinnati Style this week without Joe. I can't handle the graphics and the changes in this show. I can't imagine trying to do the real in-depth graphics that we do for Cincinnati Style. There's no way.
I mean, we could just hit hard facts the whole time, and people would tune in for that quality content.
No, nobody cares about that.
I know, right? It's not a good joke. That's a good joke. That's a
joke. So here's the thing about this strategy. If you're calling out a team, you better win that series. You can't call out a team and be like, "This is the team we want to play." That's immediate bulletin board material. And okay, here's the other thing.
Oh, real quick, 1 3-game, 5-game series.
3-game series.
3-game series.
All at the higher seeds. So there's no travel. It's just you get a 3-game home series if you're a division winner.
So unless there's still value there then. And then the 2 remaining wild cards just play each other in whomever's park? Or is it just like they flip a coin? Or is
it'd be the higher wild card, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible. The whole we get to pick who we play is stupid.
I like it. That's the only thing that I like about
You're not going to be... Look, and I hate to say this when we're talking about baseball, and Mike's on the other side of the fence, but I'm a traditionalist in this manner. You should go by who earned to be whatever. What seed.
Who earned to be. Wait, hang on. Let's break that one down.
Quality right
This is the hot take.
Who earned whatever.
Who earned what to be whatever. That was Drew's analysis on.
Mookie. Damn.
Sorry, man.
I ain't trying to get Googled.
We already mentioned you're an Emmy Award winner. I think people could have figured
true.
it
Yeah,
out.
there's not that many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humble brag.
So you don't like this idea of calling on another team? Because that's honestly the only thing in this whole thing I like. I don't like the whole Selection Sunday type show. That's clearly a cash grab just to get some additional viewers. But I like this
I guess
idea.
maybe what I'm more driving at now, I haven't had to take some time to process this. I'm finally getting there. In terms of like the competition committee, I don't know if baseball has one of those, but there's no way they would ever go for this because there's a lot that goes into baseball nowadays when they talk about setting up lineups, trying to plan out your rotation and stuff like that. And so the way that teams go into the postseason, trying to line up certain guys to go against teams that they may be locked in against, to then just throw that out the window, I don't know how you're going to get managers and player union reps to sign off on that.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a problem. That'll be an issue.
But as far as what you're trying to say about, hey, look at baseball trying to be progressive and like try things out and at least maybe even consider change. I mean, cool, but like, have we heard about what's up with the baseballs from last year yet? No, right, because we don't want to talk about that either. See, that's how this all started, right? The Astros were to cover up the baseballs, and now the Astros have turned into a thing. So no one's talking about the baseball, so baseball really doesn't care about this at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is just
breaking news.
All like layers on layers on layers of cover-ups that's going on here in MLB. I'm blown away by this.
Also, as far as how do you stop the Astros from cheating again this year, give them plastic trash cans, dummy. Not that hard, right?
Frisk them for buzzers? Is that the other thing to do? Frisk them for buzzers before they get up to the plate.
I mean, I have other ideas on that, but we've got so many people in the world that think they're going to hold a broom upright because of gravitational fields being aligned. It ain't even worth bringing up with this damn crowd.
How mad were you?
I'm still furious. I was so
mad.
I was pissed. My wife said something about that stupid broom thing, and I was like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then she told me about it. I Googled it, and the next 15 minutes, I'm just screaming in my second bedroom about how stupid the world is. Gravitational fields. Whatever. Moving on. See, this is why we need Joe.
This is why Joe would have wrapped this all up a long time ago.
He would have cut us off long
Let's talk
ago.
about this Mike Bolsinger thing. So this is a journeyman relief pitcher who played for Toronto. And back in 2017, he got lit up by the Astros. It was like 29 pitches in an inning. He gave up 4 hits, 3 walks, 4 runs. He was demoted after that outing and never saw the majors again. So now he is suing the Astros, and he's citing unfair business practices, negligence, and intentional interference with contractual and economic relations. I was wondering when something was going to come up, like whether it was a team that sued for some reason or filed a grievance, against the players, whatever. But now that like there's actually a lawsuit in place.
And I would say it's a fairly legitimate one. I'm not going to comment on the legal one because I don't know how you get the team for this, but I believe the guy. Like, one of my favorite movies all time, Bull Durham, right? And remember when Crash Davis is talking to, what's his name, Ace, the pitcher guy, and he's going, the difference between the bigs and AAA is one seeing eye ground ball a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The margins are so slim, and especially with the way that dude got lit up and then he got sent down on top of everything, like, there's clearly no denying he was on the fence to go into it, and then he gets smoked in that game. There's a correlation there for sure, and so I feel for the guy.
Yeah, it's
and
gotta
I think
be
he's
tough,
got some
man.
grounds for sure. Because again, they cheated. There's no denying that. There's never been any sort of like, well, maybe no. Like it's flat out they cheated. And as far as the Yankees and stuff complaining about getting beat in the playoffs, like that, I have less of a support of because sure, maybe they didn't tip off every pitch. But like, at least there was something there. This was a very isolated situation where they did this, they cheated, they rocked this guy, and then his career ended essentially.
Yeah.
The playoffs are so much else in play in a multiple game series. I have a little bit harder time with personally.
Well, then I start to wonder like how many other guys suffered the same fate. Like that's what you don't think about when it comes to a story like this. Is you don't think about the residual impact of guys who. These journeyman relievers who are just bouncing around, just trying to make a living, and they get picked up, and that's the outing that ends it for them.
You know what though? I just changed my mind. I'm supportive of the Astros, and here's why. If the Astros don't cheat like they did and win those games and perform as they did on offense, then maybe my boy JV, Justin Verlander, doesn't get the output he needs to still be a top producing pitcher. And then we are all deprived of Cade Upton in the spotlight. Nobody wins there.
Wait, hang on a second. You're telling me your stance here is that the only reason why Cade Upton is in the spotlight is because Justin Verlander can pitch? Is that what you're trying to? Is that this load of malarkey you're trying to sell me right now?
Not necessarily, but we wouldn't see her on SportsCenter. You know what I'm saying? She's getting exposure in other channels that are much more easy for me to obtain, we'll say, without having certain eyebrows raised. If I'm watching SportsCenter and she pops up there on like 6:30 p.m., I'm like, I don't know, babe, I'm just watching to see what the scores were from this morning.
I want to talk about this tweet that came through from minor league baseball, the real baseball, my favorite form of baseball, minor league baseball. So they tweeted this out this week, and they're asking for what is the perfect trio. So when it comes to baseball games, what is it that you are looking for? So let's start with best overall concession item: hot dog, brat, popcorn, pretzel, nachos, or ice cream. I'm kind of disappointed. Let me just start off right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed that the ice cream is not the ice cream in the helmet. They just have an ice cream cone. And if I'm at the baseball game and I'm getting ice cream, it better come in a mini helmet. That's the only way I'm eating ice cream in a baseball game. It's out of a mini helmet so that I can feel like I'm a little leaguer again. And we just won, and the team went to Dairy Queen. But it's also kind of shitty that there's no beer listed on here. Like, beer's the answer, right?
Well, I was going to say that's
answer.
probably why it's not on there, because it's just kind of like a given, right? I thought you were going to go.
It's also food items, too. They didn't include drinks. This is all food items. So I'll give them a little bit of a pass there.
Ice cream can turn into a drink.
Matt Barr chimed in. A beer is not listed. This list is invalid. Also, Cheryl pointing out Cade Upton has been in Sports Illustrated. Who cares about Sports Center? So there you go. She has been sports related.
Breaking news. Cheryl still subscribes to magazines. I can't remember the last time I actually picked up a Sports Illustrated.
I had a subscription last year. I just didn't renew it.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But yeah, that's totally fair, Cheryl. You're right.
I also wrote it off.
But at the same
taxes.
time, like, why do we need to limit the channels that Cade Upton is on? Kind of like Mike last week with, well, would it be Shakira or J-Lo? Why do I have to pick?
All right, so what are we going with? Best food item. I'm not saying overall concession item because overall concession item is beer, but best food item at the ballpark.
I mean, personally, I would go with Polish sausage.
You would.
Or I would, absolutely.
You would.
Or elephant ear. But that's kind of more of a carnival thing. But I
don't think I've ever seen elephant ears at a ball
I'm
game.
just throwing it out there. I've knocked over small children to get to the elephant ear stand before.
No, it's got to be hot dogs. Hot dogs is the answer, right?
No, I mean, like, if I'm gonna stand in line at a concession stand, I want more than a thin little floppy little hot dog. I want that thick, juicy Polish sausage.
And there's our join for next week. That's how the show will be kicking off. And Tyson, go ahead and have a feast on that line that Drew just put out there. Best souvenir. Is it the hat, the ball, a bat, T-shirt, a pic with the player, or an autograph? Here's my thing. I can't do autographs anymore. Like, I can't physically do that because these guys are younger than me. Like, it feels weird to ask somebody who's younger than me for their autograph.
And I mean, and the thing that always kills me, again, Mike, we both work downtown, and I know you see those dudes standing outside those hotels when teams are in town. The ones that kill me too is when they're standing outside the hotel for like the college basketball players signatures and the coaches, and it's like it's not even like at least Nova. You know what I mean? It's like who do I really want to throw shade at? It's like Dayton. But my question was with the baseball, and have you ever actually caught a foul ball at a baseball game?
Never.
I've never in my life, major league, minor league, I've never caught a foul ball.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be the answer in here, just because of how difficult it is.
Absolutely. So if that's what number 2 is supposed to be, then for sure that. If it's buying a ball from the gift shop, absolutely not.
That's not cool.
No,
that's not cool at all.
Yeah.
I also would you take a picture with the player like along the side, along the field?
Man, I don't know. It depends. I kind of feel like you with autographs, but it depends on who it is. Because like I've run into professional athletes once or twice in my life, but I haven't taken a picture with all of them. But then there's been others that I was like, oh my God, I'm so stoked to do this. And so it depends on the guy, I guess. If I saw Justin Abdicator, absolutely. You know, if I saw Dylan Larkin, pound sand, son.
All right, so you're on the Polish sausage baseball train so far. I'm
Yeah.
on the hot dog
Yeah.
baseball. At least we agree there. Then best seat in the house. I'll be honest, I've never sat at a big league game behind home plate, but here's what I don't like about that. I would be the guy on TV that when the ball flies a little too high, I'd be the one dodging it, like scared that it's going to hit me, even though there's a giant net protecting me from just that instance. And I can't be that guy on TV that like freaks out every time the ball flies, like a foul ball flies backwards.
Oh, I know what you
I'm
mean,
ducking.
but my
I'm
question
ducking.
is, why are you worried about? Because no one's watching these games. Like no one's gonna see you.
Matt Barr makes a good point. Now that if you're over the age of 18, you have to give that foul ball to a kid, right?
No.
So you're on the hashtag team fuck them kids?
I mean, it depends. Yeah, like if there's a kid going for it and he doesn't get it, like that sucks. Like life is tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time,
That's
like
when you get booed, though. Like you got to make sure there's no
boo
kids
me all
around.
day. I don't know who any of you people are. I do not care. Okay, like. Yeah, I have a very thin line with tolerance sometimes when it comes to stupid stuff like that. Like cliche, like, well, you got to do this. Why? Like if that ball was hit and there's a kid 5 rows away from him, I'm chucking the ball over there to him. If kid was running all the way from there to try to catch the ball, okay, I'll probably give it to him then. But
yeah, okay, so you're
you
not
don't just
completely
give it to a
heartless.
kid.
Yeah, you're not like gonna search out a kid. But if there's if you grab the ball and you're cheering and everyone's like, ah, you got it, and you look around and there's like a kid 2 rows behind you, you toss that kid that ball. Or you do what that one kid did. You ever see that video of the one kid that was
wait,
like,
will his dad buy me beer in return?
probably.
Oh, I'm in. Those beers are expensive.
Those $11
man.
Yinglings,
like,
man.
If it's like the second inning and dude's gonna buy me beers the rest of the night, that is a great investment. Here, kid, taste this trash that's tampered with anyways.
What you got to do? There's a kid that he went viral because he got a foul ball off of the like the ball girl on the side. She like tossed him a ball, so he took the ball.
Was she hot?
I don't know,
I'm
but
just
he
curious.
took the ball and then had another ball that he had brought with him and turned and handed it to a chick behind him. So she thought she was like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet!" But really, he got the good ball. He gave her this little league ball he brought.
I was gonna
with
say,
him.
how old was this kid?
He was like probably 10 or 12.
I am so
Somewhere
proud
around
of him.
there.
He is
It
going
was
to do
genius.
so well in life.
It was genius.
He's going to do so well in life and still be in jail by 35 because he's going to get caught running a Ponzi scheme. But until then, it is going to be a brilliant ride, son.
I thought it was a fantastic idea, and that I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I should start bringing a ball to the stadium so that I can keep the foul ball and toss it. But anyways, where are we sitting? Where are you gonna sit in this one?
I would go either behind home base if they're free tickets, like if it's somewhere I'm like lucking into them.
Sure.
But if I'm paying for it, I'm going outfield because again, even with a good baseball team, you can find your way to a decent seat later on. And again, it's baseball. Like, who cares about seeing it?
Outfield's the way to go.
Oh wow, look, this dude's scratching his crotch, waiting for something to happen for 15 minutes. Super entertaining.
Outfield's definitely the way to go. So we're going hot dog. You're going Polish sausage. We both agree on baseball as the
sir.
giveaway, and then outfield is the best seat. All right, good.
Oh, no, if it's a giveaway, it's got to be bobblehead.
Oh, good point. Bobblehead is
got you there.
definitely the way to
Yeah.
go on a giveaway. We want to give a shout out to our sponsor right before we get into our interview here with FIU quarterback James Morgan. So before we do that, shout out to our sponsor, More Labs. Look, everybody, we got the hookup for you. You can get 20% off your order just by going to morelabs.com and using the code SPORTS. When you're drinking heavy like we do around here, you need to wake up and function the next day. And Morning Recovery lets you do that. 1 bottle while you're partying, up to an hour after you stop drinking, and you are going to wake up the next morning feeling great, guaranteed, or your money back. Morelabs.com. Use the code SPORTS.
I will say they saved me Friday night. I
Yeah?
don't remember how I got in bed, but I did remember to take my More Labs, and I woke up the next day. I was like, all right, well, I need some bacon and eggs, but what are we doing today, babe? Every time it just comes in clutch.
All right, well, let's get into our interview for this week. And this week on the show, joining us, the former now quarterback from FIU. He also spent some time at Bowling Green. He has been invited to the NFL Combine. Future NFL quarterback James Morgan. James, how's it going, man?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Great, man. Thanks for taking some time to talk with us, man. I really appreciate it. So let me ask you this right off the jump, man. What was it like when you started off at BG and then switched to move down to FIU? Leaving Ohio to go to Florida is like a dream.
Congratulations, man.
How did
I
it
appreciate
feel?
that.
How did it feel to get out of Ohio?
Yeah, I've steadily been making my climb south throughout my entire career. So I started in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and obviously
Oh,
that's known for how cold it is. And then going to Ohio, which I mean, I swear the weather is bipolar in Ohio. It'll be like 60, and then the afternoon it'll be like 20. It's insane. And then going to Miami. So yeah, that's a selling point for me now. I got to tell the scouts I can plan it all. You know, I got the winter, I got the heat. I'm used to it all, man. But I'm happy to be happy to have spent the last 2 years in Miami. That's for sure.
now is FIU a big party school? Because I got to be
Um,
honest, the first
it's
image that
yeah.
popped up when I Googled it was a girl in a hammock out front
Oh,
of
hold
like
on.
the main campus building.
So FIU is kind of unique. So it's got kind of like its own little campus deal that's pretty enclosed. And then Miami is like downtown Miami is probably like 15, 20 minutes away. So I kind of like pick and choose, you know what I mean? Like if you want to go out, it's right there. If you want to kind of stay in, you got that too. So it's nice in that way, I guess.
That's good. So when you make that transfer from BG to FIU, what were you like? What was the reasoning behind that? What made you decide? You know what? I'm going to go play for Butch Jones.
Sure. So Butch Davis. So
Butch
he
Davis.
Oh
God
God.
bless it,
that's right.
man. Damn,
That's all
damn
right. Well,
Butches.
but honestly, he was one of the biggest factors. And then, just kind of him and the coaches and the experience that they had, and having him obviously been in the NFL, in college, had success at both levels. Our offensive coordinator, Rich Krosky, has been with the offense for 30 years, knew his stuff. And then really just the family atmosphere, just going down there and kind of seeing the culture that they had developed, and they really welcomed me in there, and really thought it was a good decision. Really enjoyed my time there.
Your time at Bowling Green, you played under Mike Jenks, and the story goes that he got that job because the AD at Bowling Green Googled best
yeah.
offense in college, and then Jenks's name came up, so he gave him the job. What take me into what that locker room is like with a dude that doesn't really have that type of head coaching experience and gets a job based on a random Google search like that.
I mean, Coach Jinx, he had some great qualities about him. Obviously, it didn't work out at BG. I have like no animosity towards him or his staff or anything. There's some great guys, and unfortunately, it doesn't work out. But I think that's part of the process. And he certainly landed on his feet at USC as I believe the running backs coach, and a number of those coaches are doing successful in their own careers. So. It's a deal where it's kind of like sometimes it fits, sometimes it's not, and I can't really speak on that. But from my perspective, it just wasn't a fit, and I wanted to, grow and develop as a player. Felt like I should go somewhere else.
All right. Well, hey, so now that he's clearly proven he can handle the questions like a pro, let's throw you a softball here, yeah? How great did it feel to beat Miami last season?
It was an awesome win, and I think probably the coolest thing about it was just what it meant to like the university and to a lot of guys in our team who had grew up as Miami fans and then didn't get recruited there. Especially, talking about what it means to people to Coach Davis, obviously having been there before and being able to come back with a smaller school and beat them. But it was awesome, man. The FIU fans came out in full force, got a lot of love on social media. When we came back to the university, there was just a mob of students waiting for us at the facility to get off our bus, just like banging pots and pans. Got some Captain
Nice.
Morgan chants, which is pretty cool. And,
There you go.
so,
So-
so no, it was a great win, and just meant a lot to the university, and that's what made it so cool.
So to borrow a page from Joe Burrow's playbook, now that you're a professional, what was the coolest thing you got after you guys beat Miami?
The coolest thing I got.
Yeah, you can be honest now, right? Like you're free and clear, brother.
Well, I mean, I wish I could tell you that I got some stuff, but I really, I'm sure it's a little bit different at Power 5 programs than at FIU. I got a lot of student recognition, which is probably the coolest part, but not really anything I could pocket. I'll tell you that.
Dude, you didn't even get like a cheeseburger though? Like no one got you a free pizza?
No, sir.
Oh, dang. All right. Well,
James holding on to that line. I respect it, man. I respect that.
All right.
Well, we do know that they do give out some. There is, some gifts that are allowed, and that comes in bowl games. And you did have the privilege of being a part of a couple bowl games in your career. What was the best piece of swag that you got from a bowl sponsor?
Okay. Well, it was kind of tough because I think probably the coolest gift this year, and it would probably been the coolest gift last year too, was this big Lazy Boy recliner. Like just looked phenomenal. It was like all the points, you get a certain point system, and this was like the most points you could get. So I was all excited to get this thing, but then I realized that like I don't even know where I'm going for training, right? So I I got like a Fossil watch, which is kind of like, it's a nice watch, but it's kind of like a traditional go-to all bowl games with some form of it, and like a sound bar. So that's
Mm-hmm.
probably about it.
I picture like this being like a Price is Right type situation where you get the lazy boy and they're like, all right, man, well, you got to take this home right now. It's like, well, I can't. Well, sorry, then
Right.
you're leaving it here.
Oh,
Right.
that's tough.
Well, man, congrats on the invite to the combine. That's fantastic news.
Thank you.
That's as soon as I saw that on Twitter, I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Mhm.
And I've seen some rankings where
He
they're-
fangirled all over.
I did fangirl when I saw that. I was like, man, Redhead's doing big things, man. I respect it. But so once you get that invite, tell me what goes through your head. Like, are you like, all right, this is my chance to finally prove it, or was that sort of validation that a guy from a smaller school can make it at that that bigger stage?
Yeah, I think I definitely look at it as an opportunity to just just compete with some guys and kind of, like you said, prove that a small school guy can hang with everybody, has an NFL skill set. Like, I can go out there and rip it just as good as any quarterback in this class, and I'm really excited to do that. And so that's why I've been trying to just put in as much work as possible to just show scouts that and coaches and GMs who are there that I can play, and I really believe that. I really full-heartedly believe that, and I can't wait to go show it.
So you mentioned preparing for it. It's like, what kind of stuff are you doing now? Because just kind of give us a sense of, you go through the season, you're practicing, you're installing game plans and all that to play a football game. But now you're going into the draft. I feel like, is that a tough shift to go from prepping for actual live football to what the combine will to put you through?
It's interesting because it's you're doing these drills and you're probably going to do them like 1 to 2 times, and that's it for the rest of your life. Like, it's not like anything else that you're going to be doing. Like, how many times are you going to 40? So it's an interesting kind of shift. I think probably the coolest thing that I like about it is it's very like for me, there's nothing else besides football, and that's what I love. It. And even if it's not necessarily football, even if it's like going on, so I'm training at ASPI in Tampa, which is it's been a great couple weeks so far, and I think they're really doing a great job preparing me. But even if it's like 40 stuff, hip stuff, 5-10-5 alignment, that type of stuff, it's like kind of exclusively my focus right now, and you can really tell like. For me, it's really cool to kind of realize it's a profession now, right? It's like a job, and I absolutely love doing it. And that's what makes it so fun, and it's fun. But yeah, so I definitely I'm excited about the combine. I want to put some good drills out there, but yeah, I really want to get back to that football, man. That's what I'm really that's what my passion is.
Itching. He's got the itch.
Wrap it up. Yep.
I was gonna say I can hear it too though. Like, it's weird, but man, I miss practice. I do.
Yeah.
I playing my rec leagues and whatnot, but practice, man, practice was always fun because you could get better at your craft. So I could see how that definitely awesome.
Yeah,
Just sit down every day, focus on that, and 24/7 eat, breathe, live football. That's cool.
Yes, sir. Yep.
James, you're so we're getting into the draft season. All the mock drafts are coming out, and we're starting to get into where the analysts are figuring out who they think is going to go where. What's the team that you are just crossing your fingers? That's the one I hope I go to. Is it the hometown Green Bay team, or where are you looking at?
Sure. So to be honest, literally whatever team gives me an opportunity.
Yeah, I knew it.
And I know that's a very like cliche answer. And I mean, if I get drafted by Green Bay and get on that team, that would be a dream come true for me. But if I get picked up by the Chicago Bears and we got to play Green Bay every year, then I'm gonna do my absolute best to beat them every year. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it, man. All I need is a chance and to just go prove and show my stuff.
What's the team that if they draft you, you're like, trade me, just get me out of here?
Man, nothing,
The Lions,
man.
be
Just
honest.
get me on there, man.
You can say the Bengals, man. It's fine. We're
Oh,
here in
God,
Cincinnati.
do it,
You can
yeah.
say the Bengals.
Hey, but even if he gets drafted by the Bengals, he will have a cheering section. We got you.
Yeah.
Like, we will
There
show
you
up
go,
in
there you
force
go. Yep,
because those tickets are gonna be
sure.
$5 with this squad. Let me tell you.
Great. There we go.
James, as we kind of look at I was watching some of your game film, and then you see some of these guys that are in the league now that are kind of revamping how the quarterback position is being viewed. We would see these guys that came up that are very run first, and it was like almost like a novelty thing, and now that's becoming more of the norm. So when you see guys like Patty Mahomes, Lamar, Russell, Dak, like, do you feel like that quarterback position at the NFL level has changed dramatically from when you started watching football, and how are you planning to adjust to that?
I think it's really cool how like each guy is kind of bringing their own style, and there's so many different like types of ways to play the position, right? You got the Tom Brady, traditional, not really a runner like stands, and he's really like doing a lot of great things. Obviously, you got the Pat Mahomes who can make every single arm slot throw available, kind of like the same type of thing with Aaron Rodgers. You obviously got Lamar Jackson who's doing his thing athletically. So I think it's really cool that each guy has his own individual identity, and I think for me, just kind of knowing my strengths. Obviously I'm more of a pocket passer than a runner for sure, and I think I'm capable of making plays with my feet when I need to, but my forte is going to be getting back there and just ripping it and picking apart a defense. And but I think with all that being said, I think that there's a lot of different ways to do it, right? And that's probably the coolest thing about the NFL is you got the time to install for different guys, and you got coaches who are willing to do that, and just super excited to be part of that type of an offense for real.
Man, that's awesome.
I was saying, I can hear you, man. You're stoked.
Yeah, this is
cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch the draft this year. I'm gonna do it.
So let's
Yes, sir.
let's get a message out to the fans of whatever team does draft you. We'll insert the team name later, but
Okay.
take a chance here. Somebody just drafted you. What's the one thing you're telling the fans of that team?
Man, if they draft me, they're gonna get the hardest working guy who just absolutely loves football. I'm a leader, I'm a competitor, and I'm gonna do everything it takes in whatever capacity to help your team win games. And that's really my ultimate goal. I want to be in a team. That's my goal at the end of this process, and I'm gonna do everything possible for GMs, for fans, for everybody to win some games, man. To really, leave my impact on an organization and help them win.
We've got some comments coming in on the Facebook live feed, and they said you are ready for the combine, man. You got the business answers, A++, like you got it down, man.
Appreciate that.
Did you have any type of training? Like does FIU offer anything like that for quarterbacks to be like, listen, you got to go through this. You're gonna be talking to the media.
Right.
Like, here's some
Talking to
classes
idiots.
right.
Asking the same
I'll say
dumbass
at
questions.
Bowling Green, I took a lot of communication classes, and then at FIU, I took a lot of local government classes. And especially with local government, you're going to have a lot of angry people, and you got to be able to find a way to communicate things in different ways. So I guess I'll attribute my success or my prowess, as if you will, to that, I guess.
So then once the career is done in the NFL, you've had a long, successful career. You gonna be running for Congress? Is that what?
No. So down the road, hopefully, is law school. That's kind of my plan, and just kind of didn't want to do that. So I graduated from Bowling Green with a pre-law degree. Didn't want to do law school while I was still playing football. I thought that would be an incredible burden. So
That'd be a little tough,
Yeah,
man.
I can imagine. Damn.
Yeah, right. Public administration grad program, and I'm a class away from graduating that, but I'm taking that next spring to focus on football right now. But was a great experience for the last 2 years. Definitely, it was pretty cool to see kind of the local areas of Miami, especially how diverse and how much different people there are down there. It was really cool.
Are you gonna go like trial law? Are you thinking like agent style? Maybe work that angle.
I'm not sure, man. I got a lot of possibilities, and I guess I know what I want to do, but I don't know exactly what I want to do.
Well,
so I think
Patent
kinda
attorney, man. That's where the
experience
bucks are
both,
at. You work 9 to 5. You
I
bill
mean,
all them hours.
Let's face it,
Patents.
it's football player first. Like that's the goal at this point. So law school will be there several years down the road, man.
Down the road, yeah, no doubt about it.
All right, James, we've got a little bit of quick hitter questions that we do. Think of these like those weird combine questions that they're going to throw at you. Which have you
All right.
have you like done any research on those? Like prepped yourself for because I think last year somebody said something about like it's some player's mom and like how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a couple oddball ones in there just to kind of gauge how you think. I mean, one of them that was presented to me was like, you got a paperclip. How many different uses can you do for a paperclip or something like that? And, I'm just in my room trying to brainstorm like, okay, chain, like catapult, placeholder. So, I've had a couple of them, but I'm sure there's going to be some strange ones come Indianapolis.
So they didn't encourage you to go, well, but what kind of paperclip? Or like, you're talking like, those metal ones with the plastic coat. Like, I mean, really, you can turn it on its head.
Flip the script.
That's right. What
Script,
would
yep,
you
there you
do
go.
with a paperclip?
All right, man. Well, we won't go that crazy. We're not going to ask you about paper clips, but we are going to ask you some very serious debates that go on in our Facebook group, and we'd like to have our guests weigh in and give some deciding votes. So let's start this one off.
This is more important than the combine.
Yeah, this is, and I'll be sending this to Mike Brown in Cincinnati. So just know,
There you go.
Yep.
plain cake donuts, yay or nay?
Plain cake donuts. So like, what we're talking, just like straight up, no glaze.
No glaze,
just
nothing.
Yeah, I can't do that. I gotta have a little
I was
bit
gonna
of
say, I knew
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 You don't
Yeah.
seem like a plain cake kind of guy, man.
No. Nothing plain about me.
Jordan or LeBron?
That's a real tough question. Now, everybody, I was Jordan for the longest time, but then when I was in, Ohio for
Yeah.
Bowling Green, I gotta kind of go to LeBron, man. Just the playoff stuff that he has done, it's just like it's incredible. Like especially whenever they lost to the Warriors, and he literally just carried the whole team that whole playoffs, man. Dude's a stud for real.
He's a beast.
That's maturity right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Hearing GMs. That's maturity in the way he chose that answer.
Let's talk baseball for a second. Bat flips, yay or nay?
Yeah, man, all about the bat flips. Those things
Hell
are awesome.
yeah. All right, man. If you're
Hit them
wearing,
Yeah. That's all we need.
if you're wearing a dressy shirt, do you button that shirt from the top down or from the bottom up?
Oh, jeez.
These are tough.
I think from the bottom up and leave a little bit, up top.
Little chest hair poking out. Yep,
Yeah,
I dig
got
it.
Guy's a pro. Guy's a pro.
When you're putting on your pants, do you zip the pants and then button, or button and then zip?
Zip then button, but I've never thought about that before.
Wow, that's weird, man. That's weird. I'm not
That's
gonna
weird,
lie.
That's weird. Okay.
Backwards. Not good, not good.
Are IPAs just pumpkin spice lattes for white dudes?
Oh, there you go. I'm not a fan of IPAs. Just gotta say, I haven't had a lot of them. Now I've been off of alcohol. I haven't been drinking a lot, but back in the day, I'm a Coors Light guy. I'm pretty.
Respect.
That way. Yep. Little silver bullet. That's me.
All right, that's fair. Is Die Hard?
Notice how he sidestepped that question without giving an answer.
Yep, didn't give it, but the answer is
Well
yes.
done.
The
Well
answer
done.
is yes. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just an awesome movie, man. It's just a freaking. You can watch it any time of the year, but love it.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Okay, this is something like definition wise, like I'm saying no, man. Just hot dog's a hot dog, but I guess like technically it's a sandwich. I don't know.
There it is.
I'm going like no sandwich.
He's
Gotta go.
put thought into this though. I
Yeah.
respect that too.
Yeah, he lawyered us a little bit
A
too.
little
He's like,
bit.
a hot dog's a hot dog. It's
Yeah. Hot dog is a hot dog.
not- if you're getting chicken wings, drums or flats?
Drums.
Ooh, okay. All right. Pineapple on a pizza, yay or nay?
Nope. I can do like barbecue chicken, but nope, no pineapple.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
All right. And finally, what's the one team you don't want to draft you?
Trying to get a little lightning rod thing.
Yeah,
All
whatever.
32 teams. Come on, all 32 teams. You got a guy here who's willing to work hard for you.
I tried to. I was actually gonna put that in there a couple of times just to see if I could trip you up at some point. But James,
Yeah.
you're too damn smart, man.
Yeah, guy's
you're
on top of
You're
this.
on it.
That's a good lawyer technique right there.
Yeah.
Question.
Right. It's those weird personality tests that you just ask the same question over and over again in different ways and hope somebody screws up. James, we really appreciate you hopping on with us, man, taking some time to talk to us. Wishing you nothing but the best. So you're going to be at the Combine. What are you going to do draft day? Where are you partying? Where are you watching the draft at?
I'm going to be at home, man. I'll be with my family, and we'll see what happens. Hoping for the best.
Lots of drums
I would
that you'll
say,
be.
lots of drums,
Yep.
Coors Light.
Yep.
Yeah, all that
No,
good
he's
stuff.
off alcohol.
Off alcohol. That's the right way to say that. Yep.
All right, that's fair.
James, thank you so much for
Hey,
joining
wait,
us.
where can we get at him? You want to throw out the handle?
Good point. Yeah,
The
James,
handle?
why don't you give people
Sure.
your social media?
I got JMoney12 with 3 Y's on Twitter.
Yes.
And yep, there's that one. And James Morgan _12 on Instagram.
And I'm
Right on.
expecting a lot of Instagram shots from the Combine, hanging out with Joe Burrow and all that good stuff. So do it for the gram, man.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to go down and compete.
James, thanks so much, man. Best of luck to you, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, cheers, man. That was
Peace.
James Morgan, former quarterback for FIU and a future NFL player. Dude, he's got the answers down, man.
Oh, yeah, he is on top of his game.
My man's
Yeah.
got it. That was
He's going to nail that interview. I guarantee, yeah, no doubt. No, was your mom a stripper question going to trip him up? And again, he'll probably be like, now, what do you mean by stripper? And who is mom, really? I mean, let's dig into this. guy's gonna throw these GMs on their head, and they're not gonna know what hit them.
James's interview is brought to you by MyBookie. Be sure to use the promo code 12ounce sports to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Be sure to tune into all of the gambling shows here on 12 ounce and then put that knowledge to practice on MyBookie. Make sure to use the promo code 12ounce sports. That's 12OZ sports. You're going to get that bonus. You can find their banners and links on every page of the station site at www.12ozsportsradio.com. Oh, it was low. I tried to hit the drop and it was low, man.
Yeah, it's not like, you failed at the one thing you were supposed to do tonight, but that's fine.
I'll hit it again. I don't care. There it is.
There we go.
There it
That
is.
feels so much better. So did you did you put any money down on the XFL on MyBookie this weekend?
I ended up not.
I kept trying to, and I the problem is that the game times are a little weird. Now, I appreciate that they had to kind of schedule on, like, I don't know, real content on the airwaves and stuff like that. But, the 2 and 5 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday kind of threw me. Like, I'd wanted to. But the thing that got me the most excited was I turned the game on after remembering it was on, and they had the lines right there on the score widget thing.
Dude, yes.
Like, I like that. And I know I'm getting a little ahead here, but I was just kind of trying to buy you time while you
No.
vamped on stuff over there.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
But,
thank you. I had to send James a thank you.
Yeah,
text.
I mean, again, the guy, great content. He's a great interview.
Okay, so how did they even set those lines in the XFL? Because I was very confused. This is a brand new league. These are players that you don't know anything about.
Well, you know something. They had tape. The guys had tape somewhere. Most of them went to college somewhere. Now, the tough ones would be like the D3 guys, the AIA guys.
Right, but they also haven't played in however long. Like, I mean,
it was strictly a paper line. Yeah,
but
that's
they
the
were,
only
like,
way I can make any
they
sense
were
of
on
it.
it. Like Vegas was.
No, every under hit,
Dude,
by
okay.
like a good amount.
No, the first game, the DC game, the over under was 51.5.
Yeah.
They hit the over because there was a field goal that put them over, but they called running into the kicker.
Right.
So they took the field goal off the board.
Right.
And then it was like 1st and goal from the 7. And then the dude fumbled the ball. DC recovered. And I was like, there's the under. Are you kidding me? I'd be furious if I had the over.
Oh,
in
no,
that
that
situation.
was definitely a bad beat, which,
It was
again,
a horrible beat.
Which
That was the worst beat.
Which was one of the best parts I liked about it. They were talking about gambling constantly in the broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you know me.
Well, I think they realize that you got to do that to get these fans interested. Like you need people
Right.
to watch this content, and the best way to do that is to make them put money on it.
And honestly, that was the biggest thing too, is that the league this weekend did not feel gimmicky.
No,
There were differences. It didn't feel gimmicky. The way that they leaned into the betting in that first broadcast on ESPN felt a little gimmicky, but they also didn't double down on Sunday either. So I think they kind of like self-scouted figured that out. Fox didn't do it as much in the late game on Saturday or Sunday, but other than that, nothing felt gimmicky to me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, who was your favorite broadcast? Because we technically had 4 separate types of broadcasts. Like, even the differences between Fox and Fox Sports 1 was different, and like between ABC and ESPN was different. Even though they're the same companies, the broadcasts felt very different.
Right, because on the ABC one, they left the dude drop an F-bomb on live TV. That was awesome.
When they started When they started interviewing dudes in game, I'm like, all right, somebody's gonna drop
When
it.
they start interviewing offensive linemen in
Right,
the game,
right.
like honestly,
And it's like, hey, you just got into a fight. Like, maybe give him a breather.
right?
Like,
Yeah,
let's
you
not.
just got a 15-yarder for shoving some dude down, and then you took your helmet off and started swearing at someone. Would you like to tell me how
trying
you
to do
feel
my
about it?
fucking job.
That was awesome.
It was fantastic.
I was watching that with my wife, and she was just kind of sitting there, not really paying attention, but just like kind of aware that football was on. And then she just like snapped her, she's like, Did he just say that? I was like, yeah, they messed it up. You want to hear it again? Rewind.
I like that they muted for like 7 seconds after he dropped
Yeah.
it. Like, it was like, dude,
Yeah.
you got to work on this delay because
And well, the kicker is going into that, you had to expect it too.
absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
if that's what you were going for, you had to know that you were going to have all kinds of like interference coming at you. Which again, that's what I love about getting that in touch with the live game, is even hearing that. Like, I love hearing in the NBA every once in a while you hear them talking garbage to each other.
Yeah,
And you hear the stuff they say, and like, man, those guys, they dig. Oh, it's great.
I couldn't hack it with some of the smack talk that goes on in the NBA. But you're right, though. That was like one of my favorite parts of the whole league, was getting to hear like the coaches calling the plays
hell yeah.
into the heads. Like,
Oh yeah.
every skill position player, the quarterback, they all have
brilliant
that.
idea.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Guarantee
Yeah.
the NFL steals that idea. Like it's gonna happen.
Well, maybe. The one thing with that is part of it is they have that 24-second play clock too, right?
Right.
The play clock is shortened, so it's almost like, well, we have to do this. I don't know if I see the NFL doing that because one of the things I heard, I think it was the New York coach was on the radio yesterday, and they were talking to him. He had given up play calling duties on offense, and they're like, "So how'd that feel? What was that all about?" And he said that basically when he was calling plays back in the day, he would call in a primary. He would call in one for him to alert to, and he'd call in a third play for the quarterback to like so the first one would be you call play A, we're going to kill it and run this instead. But he also had an alert too, so that if there was like an all-out blitz, they alerted that. So he essentially was calling in 3 plays. And he goes, yeah, with a 25-second play clock, I couldn't do that.
Right.
So I had to bring in someone who could call play faster and call that run-pass option stuff because, like, again, when you're that short of a time frame, that's how you get options as far as the quarterback being able to decide.
But you can call those plays like they're allowed in the headset up to the snap of the ball, so you can make those reads and call it in quickly.
So they were calling one play, and you remember like the verbiage on those
dude,
plays, like that was
crazy.
taking time.
It
Like,
was
there's no way
crazy.
you're calling in 3 of those things, even you know what I mean. Like even if you're in the headsets of the guys, which again I thought was cool too. They'd call in the play with like razor Y banana, whatever the hell it was, except there'd be like 18 more syllables after all of that. And then the coaches would coach too, which is cool.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh yeah, hey Marcus, this is come your way, or hey, if they tuck in here, go over the top or something.
Right.
They were throwing in coaching like
It was,
all the
dude.
way
It
up
was
until
so
up until
awesome.
it.
It was. That was likely my favorite part. The kickoff rule, I think, is cool. I could see the NFL taking that kickoff rule as well. I'm still kind of lost on the punts and like the touchback rules. And
I
like,
honestly thought when they were talking about it leading in last week, and I was like, wait, so we just don't kick field goals anymore?
Yeah,
So
like-
one of the teams lined up for a field goal, I was like, oh shit, they can still do that. Okay.
right, but it's
Cool.
There's really no need to when you can score 9 points after
Right.
like with a
Yeah, that's
touchdown.
true
You don't
too,
necessarily
yeah.
need it. Like they're trying to encourage. That's what Trey was saying last week. Is they're trying to encourage the offense to
Right.
go for it more and avoid punting. They want Madden. They basically wanted you to play Madden.
Who doesn't want Madden, right? And those games moved too, man. They were wrapped up in like a tight 2-hour window, maybe a little extra. Like it was
felt-
going.
Well, it's a running clock except for the last 2
Right,
minutes.
I think that
but
helps a lot.
It felt like they weren't that much faster. Maybe it was just the couple. Like that DC game seemed to last 3 hours, and maybe it was just my perception of it because I have kids screaming in my ear and I'm trying to watch
probably
football.
some of that, yeah.
That's a very real possibility.
They'll go to bed after the football game. Oh my God, this is still on. There's a possibility that was it. Yeah.
that's likely what it was. So, do you think the XFL sticks around this time? You think it lasts?
I think it's got a shot. I think it does because I think it's real football.
Yeah.
It's quality. I mean, it's not top quality. The execution was a little iffy, but again, it's their first week back from what, like Trey, this was his first action in 15 months or something.
Right. First game action since college.
Yeah,
Like,
and so okay, you got to kind of understand that there's probably going to be a bit of a learning curve or whatever there too of guys like knocking the rust off, but I don't see why it wouldn't. And I think the AAF last year I don't think wasn't working. They just ran out of money. Which I'm not quite sure how you do that, but it seemed like there was an appetite for it. It seemed like it had to find a niche market kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like there's the way that sports are broadcast these days is that you can watch you can watch axe throwing.
You could.
Like there are channels to watch all kinds of crap, and you mean to tell me that you can't sell more football to Americans? I mean, come on, like.
So
It'll stay.
Here's what I'm concerned about. The initial numbers, I think it was like 3.3 million was the numbers that were reported. By comparison, the AAF did 2.9 million its first weekend or first game or whatever. So they
Wait, what were the numbers? I wasn't listening.
3.3 million for the XFL and then like 2.9 for the AAF. The problem with that though, it did better than the AAF, but not by much.
Well, wait,
and
so
you
those
also
are the
had-
ratings, right?
Yeah, whatever.
What was the attendance too, though?
Not good. Did you see? I mean, did you look at the stadiums?
Wow, which stadium? Because again, sticking them in whatever it
Well,
was.
they're playing in like soccer stadiums, which
the ones
are
that were in the
already.
soccer stadiums didn't look terrible though for the optics. And again, with those games, they moved.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the worst thing. I think it's actually probably a more friendly product for the fans than the NFL may be with the duration
and I
all
think
that.
you're looking at like Matt Barr pointed out, the DC Defenders tickets are more expensive than the Washington football team tickets at this point. Like
Whoa.
they are They're
'cause-
in
yeah,
markets
I mean,
where you've got crappy NFL teams. Like New York is all in on the Guardians now. I saw those tweets constantly over the weekend where like New York Guardians are playing the best football since who knows when, since the Giants won the Super Bowl.
Well, see, and that's why it makes sense if those tickets are more expensive. It's like, hey, this team doesn't come with baggage and a history of losing and letting me down. I can pay money, go get hammered, and if the team still loses, I'm not out of anything. I have no skin in the game.
But the
Kinda makes sense.
problem is that
Plus they gave them all like free foam stuff. Did you see
Right,
that?
yeah, they did.
Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like free
yeah.
props that they give to all the fans. It's like, hey, pretend like you know who we are. And like, what I want to know is, the next interview we need to get is the people that dressed up for the games.
Yeah,
I
How
wanna
did
talk
you?
to those
yeah,
people.
that's a good point. Let's do some research. See what
How
we can
do
find
get
out.
Hey, get at us at Craft Brewed Sports.
At Craft B Sports,
Craft
that's
B
the
Sports.
Twitter handle.
See, I knew it couldn't just be Craft Brewed Sports. That'd be too good.
It's too long. It's
Yeah.
too long. It doesn't fit.
Get it together, Twitter.
Okay, so back to my point. So the numbers weren't that much better than the AAF, but you also had backing of ESPN and Fox pushing the XFL, like going into that first
Yeah,
weekend. So
right.
to have those two backing the product and it doesn't blow numbers out of the water compared to what the AAF was, that's a bad sign to me. That's
So, but what are we comparing it to? Because like,
to
if
the
you're
AAF.
trying, okay, that's fair. Yes, that was the comparison you were literally just making. But my point is, compared to like the NBA, MLB, MLS, like where does it stack up with that? I frankly clearly have
That
done
I
no
don't
research.
know. I didn't
but
research that. I just
yeah.
saw the numbers.
It's
and
not going to be NFL numbers, clearly, but I don't think
No.
there's an expectation of it because the other part of it too is they do literally have the backing of the WWE as an organization, so they have funding and they have time to figure
so
stuff
that's
out.
that's the other concern I have with the league in general, and I have this concern with any league where there's one guy that owns it, like where there's one owner, because it's one dude with stake in the game. That's why the AAF, when they ran out of money, when things started falling apart, it was like, dude, this guy's gonna bail. The reason why I think leagues in general can succeed and can be a little bit more risky and can take some hits for longer is because it's sole ownership over a team. There's not one person that owns every team. So if the team starts to struggle, they can sell off that team. The league continues to, they can keep going. You got 8 really rich OWGs instead of just one rich OWG who's got his money in it. Because as soon as the ratings start to slip a little bit and sponsors start getting shaky, they're more likely to pull out.
No, because then Vince will just put his own stuff on air. I mean, like, he is so hard-headed. There's a part of me that thinks he doesn't let this fail, period. No one else could watch but him, and he'd still keep the league alive. He's like, I'm going to be right about this.
I don't know, man. It failed the first time around. He's the same guy. He pulled the plug after a season last year.
That's
or
because
last time.
I think honestly the first time he looked at it and goes, yeah, I can't market this. This is a bad idea. Clearly, of course, no one's going to sign up for this product. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you had basically strippers on the sideline. Like, that already kind of like
It was
limits
very
your
attitude.
sponsorship.
It was
like,
attitude era WWE for sure.
Again,
the last time around.
That's why I'm like, yeah, it feels a little different. It feels a little bit more measured. They've got Oliver Luck in charge of like actually running the thing.
I just get worried that when it's one dude's money that's backing the whole thing. I think that model works for something like the Big Three, where you don't have home bases. You're not paying a stadium rental plus employees at that stadium, concession stands, all that stuff. You're not paying for that in whatever 4 different cities at the same time. The Big Three, you can have one guy own it because you're going town to town like a circus, and you don't have that overhead that you do if you're the one guy cutting checks for everybody that's in the league. That's a rough spot to be in, man. And I feel like as soon as things start to take a downturn, you're more likely to be like, I got to cut my losses. I got to get out.
Something else that you're maybe overlooking with this is that that one guy, what else does he own? WWE, right?
Right. But he also
how much did Fox pay WWE for their broadcast rights recently?
I have no idea.
Billions. It was in the billions, right? So that's the other part of it is that Vince does kind of have leverage there too, right?
These guys, these billionaires don't look at it as, oh, I lost $1 million this week because the sponsor pulled out. They look at it as, I lost $10 million because over the next 10 weeks this sponsor is gone. Like they don't the mindset is totally different. You can't think like us, where
I'm
it's
just
like,
saying they're
oh
gonna-
shit, like, yeah, of course it's still cool. Fox paid billions of dollars.
No, I'm just saying he has leverage. He has run rate. He has a way to sort of tweak it in his favor. He can negotiate more favorable deals than the AAF
That's
did.
for sure.
The AAF didn't have any room to come in. He has already long-standing relationships with other sponsors. Like, I don't know specifically, but I assume like Coke and Pepsi or whatever sponsors WWE, well, it's going to be like the NBA and the WNBA. Like, hey, you want to get a piece of the NBA action? We're going to throw some at the WNBA anyways. Like, so there's going to be things like that work in his favor. I'm not as worried about it failing in like the first year. I feel like if anything, it's going to be 3 and then it'll shudder because it's like, okay, we tried things out, we worked it out. But the other fact is, I don't see how this isn't beneficial to football, period. Because again, those kickoff rules, I don't know if anyone else was exploring those, but I don't know how every other league, college, NFL, how they don't adopt that. It makes so much sense for player safety if that's what's important. And having a league where you can literally try this out and see if it works. Because in theory, you could say, like, let's do this thing. And then you try it and you're like, okay, yeah, that was so dumb. That was so stupid. But having a venue where they can do that with real live actual football that does but doesn't matter. Because with, again, the Vegas money on NFL games and the actual player but salaries and the revenue there, you're not going to screw with that. College, I mean, they can't even get their shit together around a playoff and all that stuff, let alone like actually changing material rules. So they're never going to budge. So having a venue where you can do this stuff is going to add value. So I think the football community also will be a very large part of trying to make this succeed.
It's just like when 2K Sports was out and Madden had to actually innovate and do different things instead of just being like, hey, remember that game from last year? We got new players. Have fun. You're paying $55 for it, dummies.
The uniforms got updated too.
right. And us dummies just kept buying it. I'm interested to see. We'll see how the XFL holds up. I don't know. I just don't have much faith.
I choose to believe it'll work.
I'm glad you do. I liked the product. I liked it. I
was
enjoyed
great.
what
It
I
was
watched.
really
That's why
entertaining.
I don't want Vince to get spooked and pull out. Like, I want him to, Vince, plow through, baby.
Yeah, because your other children turned out so well.
Let's talk about this beer one last time. This is Last Call, brought to you by Tavor. Use the code 258023 on the payments and credit screen, and you're going to get $10 off your second order. That's 258023. Stock up your beer fridge with Tavor, just like we do with this week's beer, Kid in a Candy Store from Weldworks Brewing Company. What do you think, Drew?
God damn it, this is good.
It's so good.
It's so good. It kind of softened. There was a little bit. Oh God, I have a lot left. Nice. I
haven't
really
even gotten my second one.
I will
yet,
see.
dude.
And here's the thing. I kept looking at you because I was like, man, I don't want to crack this too soon. But I'm like really.
No,
milking
it's
this
just
thing.
because there's so much going on over here.
He's
I'm
working
freaking
hard,
out,
folks. He's
you
trying
know.
really hard to put on a subpar show for you. Don't worry.
You dick.
Yeah, because I clearly have no hand in that whatsoever. No, it was great. It was a great beer. It was sweet, but not too sweet. You know what I mean? It still had some of that like stout bitterness and like base to it, which is great. I love it. I don't know if I'd say it's Snickers melted down because I didn't taste the peanut, but that's good. Because again, a lot of times peanut shows up and like kind of like
Just
that's all you can
overpowers
taste.
everything, yeah.
So I thought it was great.
I got a little bit of nut from this one. A little bit of nut
You
in my
do
mouth
have a
from
little
this
bit
one.
of that. Yeah.
It's solid, man. This brew
It's
is
got me feeling a little toasty. I'm
really
having
good.
issues with this like arm thing. Like I've smacked it 3 times now, and I can't figure out how the hell to pour more beer in my bat. But
This is
you know,
definitely one that I would order again. It is super smooth.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best stouts I've ever had. I know Robert Taylor had said earlier this was one that he had and he loved it. I can see why. It's a fantastic brew. If you see Kid in the Candy Store out and about, 100% pick that one up as I fight back a burp because, good Lord, it's good.
what would Joe say about it?
Joe would say, mm-hmm.
That was a good effort. That was a good try.
He
It's hard
would.
to get, it's hard
He
to get
would
that
not.
bass, you know,
Joe
with
would
the high
not.
pitch.
Joe would not give this one. It's good.
I was gonna
This
say,
would not get a.
I would not
It's
give
good. Mm-hmm. This is Last Call, brought to you by, again, Tavor. Use the code 258023 and get $10 off your second order at Tavor. Man, this was a fun show, dude.
Yeah, this went by quick.
It goes by real quick,
Yeah.
man. Every time it goes by
flies.
super quick. And also, I survived. Thank God Joe will be back next week because
Yep.
I can't handle it. But then he's gone again for like months. Next week is the last week that Joe will be here until like June.
Maybe we should just like call in a tip about him or something and just kind of get him put on administrative leave. Is that dirty? Is that bad?
I kind of dig it. I
right,
like
right.
that play.
He cheated on his SAT.
No, you got to do something like failing his background check that the coaches have.
That's
to
where I
take.
was thinking, but all the things I thought of, I didn't want to actually put on tape, so I went with that. He has unpaid parking tickets.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thanks again to James Morgan for joining us. Be sure to follow him at all of the social media, JMoney with 3 Ys 12 at Twitter. And then I can't remember what the Instagram was.
I was shocked you got that part. I was like, damn, did he write that? No, he's got this from memory.
I got that, bro. And thank you to all of you that shared out the show. Chris America, Memo sharing it out, Glenn helping us out, Clark, Katie, shout out Katie, Mitch sharing out the show, Cheryl, thank you so much. Moms, you're the best. Tyson with the comment, they're still doing this. Okay. Great share, Tyson, as always. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you to 12 Ounce Sports for hosting us, for showing this on all of their platforms as well. Be sure to follow at 12 Ounce Sports for all of the shows that are on the network. You can follow us in between at Craft B Sports. Be sure to like us on Facebook. We are at Crappy Sports on Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube. All the videos get put up there as well. One more Cincinnati style show next week, and then we'll probably take a break from that. So be sure to tune in for that next week. Thank you guys so much.
Where'd you get that hat?
I got this hat at the Craft Brew Sports store. Thank you, man.
Oh, dude, that's sweet. I know I had one of those.
craftbrewsports.com/shop. Rep the show. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, tank tops. We got it all for you.
Ooh, sexy tanks.
Thank you for tuning in. Cheers, everybody.
Peace out.